Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. Well, yesterday I spoke to you out of Mary's song, and I'm still spending time there in my quiet time. Mary, of course, being the mother of Jesus. And Mary, as a young girl, finds out she's pregnant and has this incredible song of praise to God. What amazes me about the song as I look at it here as a 61-year-old man who's never been pregnant, what amazes me about the song is the way it applies a consistent insight about God to all of us, male or female, young or old, childbearing or not. Listen to this passage. She's talking about God, and she says, He has shown strength with His arm. He has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. All right, now I'm going to Hebrew nerd Bible geek out on you a bit for a moment to let you know that the Hebrew concept of different parts of the body is a little bit different than ours today. So the arm was a symbol of what you do. It's you work with your arm. Your hands are the works, what does work, but arm is the strength behind your work. And so when she says that He has shown strength with His arm, that means that God is not simply powerful, but that He's demonstrated and shown the power. He has shown by what He does how strong He is. Think about some weightlifter, got big old muscles. Well, it's one thing to see the big old muscles on the weightlifter, but it's another thing to see them lift some massive weight. And that's what she's saying, that God has shown the strength of His arm. But just as God has shown the strength of His arm, part of the way He's done that is the next clause, that He has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. Now, we think of the heart as Valentine's Day and love and the seat of emotions. Not so the ancient Hebrews. In biblical times, they thought of the stomach, the intestines as being the source of your feelings. You feel it in your gut type thing. But the heart is what they thought was the thinking part of a human. That's where they understood the mind to be. They didn't think of it as the brain. They thought of it as the heart. And so when you read about the thoughts of their heart, he's not talking about the emotional thoughts. He's talking about the mental process. She's talking about the mental processes. So she says that God has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts, or we could translate that minds. Pride really does exist in the mind. Pride is not an external reality. Nobody externally is rightfully proud. Pride is something that is a mental fiction. It's this mental construct. It's a mind game, a mind trick, honestly, that you play on yourself. So what God does is He shows the strength of His arm, and in part He does that by scattering the proud. Look, if you and I are proud in our thoughts, we're living in a fictional world. We're not living in reality. If our thoughts reflect an arrogance and a haughtiness and a better than thou and a holier than thou, we are in the very neck-deep waters of make-believe land. And so God brings the mighty down from their thrones, and He exalts those of humble estate. Now, I talked about that yesterday from the humility perspective, but I really want us to get it also from the other side, from the pride perspective. This is a time of Christmas. It's a time of celebration. It's a time to see Jesus coming into this world and coming into our lives. But that is not something that the proud even need, much less want or understand. It's a gift to the humble and to those of the lowly estate, to use the biblical phrase. It's the hungry who will eat such good things. And so I'm thinking through and working through Mary's song still. And my video thought for today is not just one of I want to be of humble estate, but I don't want to live in the fiction of arrogance, thinking I'm something that I'm not. God have mercy on me and on you today. Let's seek him for the greatness he is, not the greatness we might think we are. That's your video thought for the day. A little more tomorrow.